Hello, Red Wave. Welcome to Beware of Bulldogs podcast. We are your hosts, Caleb Nail and Caleb Pletz. Caleb Pletz is sitting to, he's sitting in front of me, but to your right. I don't know how. I need to go watch on YouTube. I don't do enough watching on YouTube. It's hard to watch yourself on YouTube. But Mr. Pletz, how are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Been better, getting over the flu. Been a little sick, but overall it's good. It's a joyous time of year with Christmas coming up, so got plenty to be thankful for, and hopefully we'll be thankful for Fresno State victory to cap off this season. Yes.
Can you hear my dog barking out here?
Nope.
Oh, good. Sometimes, I don't know if I should say this or not, but I hate my dog. I hate my dog. If anyone wants this dog, you can have it. It's a Staffordshire female. I hate it. All right. Nothing like starting an episode out like that. You can follow us on former Twitter, X, Beware_Bulldogs, and on Instagram, Beware Bulldogs Podcast. This is the last preview of the season, of the football season, and it's going to be a fun football game. Bowl season is always fun. I mean, Christmas time doesn't get any better. And then you add on bowl season on top of it. Oh man, it's one of the best times of the year. I can't lie. It's the best. So the Bulldogs play New Mexico State in the New Mexico Bowl. Our Get to Know was released yesterday. So you could go check that out. We had their play-by-play broadcaster, Jack Nixon, on. Great guy. He's been their play-by-play guy for 44 years. Long time. So he's Mr. New Mexico State Aggie. So go check that one out. But we got to talk about New Mexico and give our thoughts and some game plan things that we would like to see. And then just so you guys know, FYI, we will get into all the transfer portal and commitments and things like that during our recap, and after the season, we're going to stick purely to the bowl game preview tonight. So New Mexico State comes into this game 10-4. They were runners up in Conference USA. Yes, they finished in the conference 7-1, 10-4 overall. They had a big win, a 31-10 win over Auburn. I believe they went on like an 8-game win streak after they started the season 2-3 with losses to UMass, Liberty, and Hawaii. Liberty's a good team, though. Lost to Liberty twice. Two of their 4 losses were to Liberty. And then they had a big win over Auburn. They beat a good Jacksonville State team. They beat a good Western Kentucky team. And I mean, Conference USA, you can say what you want about it, but they had some good wins. And this is a good football team. So they come to their 10-win team, come to this game 10-4, second in Conference USA, while the Dogs come into this game, I'd say, limping on a 3-game losing streak and really struggling defensively, especially to stop the run. Caleb, before we get into the nitty-gritty and talking about what's going to make us sweat and our everybody dance now and our keys to the game, overall, what was your thought when they announced this matchup?
Well, it seemed a little unfair, just that it would be likely a home game for New Mexico State. So I didn't love that, and the fact that it was so far away. I doubt there's going to be a huge contingent from Fresno or elsewhere making the trip for Fresno State, but I do expect there to be a decent crowd there. So a little disappointing, especially at the beginning of the season when our expectations are loftier than a New Mexico Bowl. No offense to New Mexico Bowl representatives, but this is a bit of a letdown at the end of the season for a lot of people. At least fans, I'm sure, and probably some people in the program too that had their expectations a little bit higher. Dogs are coming in on 3 straight losses, not great. And if we're looking just big picture at this matchup, it's one team that has an identity and a team that's really bought in New Mexico State, and a team that is seeking direction, we'll say, in Fresno State with uncertainty at the head coaching position, and some early transfer portal exits. I don't think anyone that's really going to impact this game, but just a lot of uncertainty around the Fresno State program. So really kind of two different situations right now with a program that is exceeded expectations and another program that hasn't met expectations.
Yeah, I totally agree. This is just so you guys know, this game opened as a 2.5-point underdog for Fresno. And now it has moved to -3.5 or +3.5, I guess. We're talking Fresno State. So we'll get there in a second. But yeah, I don't think that's surprising to many. But when we talk about our guys, Mikey Keene, Malik Sherrod, Eric Brooks, I would say the kind of the starters for this game, Trey Watson, the stars for this game, they're all going to be there. So it gave us time to recover and go into this game. Let's talk about New Mexico State, though, and their players. Diego Pavia, we talked, go and listen to Jack. He talks about all their players and some names to look out for. But Diego Pavia is their quarterback. He leads their team in rushing yards as well. They use multiple running backs. So we're going to get a heavy dose of New Mexico State running the ball. And that's not what you like to hear if you're a Fresno State fan. I don't like to hear that. Kiel, what are your thoughts on a New Mexico State team? And by the way, names are for New Mexico State. Their star running back's name is Star Thomas. Star Thomas, Monte Watkins, Jamani Jones, and McKylan Young. I probably butchered that. And then also Eli Stowers. They all get carries, but Star Thomas, the majority of them. And then Diego Pavia, by the way, leading the team in carries and yards and touchdowns on the ground, as well as leading the team through the air. So they have a balanced attack, but they like to run the ball, and they run the ball with multiple guys. What's your thought on that, Caleb?
Definitely a dangerous offense. I think Pavia is probably the prototype of what you would expect from a New Mexico State quarterback. A little undersized, gritty, but plays hard, and he's actually a decent player. And I think that Fresno State's going to have their hands full on defense. So, he's a competent passer. Numbers wise, better numbers than what Fresno State put out there this season. And to be an effective runner, 850 yards on the ground in 13 games, though. I do want to point that out. It's kind of a unique scheduling thing for New Mexico State this year, where they already have 14 games played with taking a week 0 game earlier in the season. So, but overall, to have that many different running back options cycling in, that's unique. And, also something that Fresno State has seen recently in the last 3 games with, giving up substantial rushing numbers to San Diego State, New Mexico, and San Jose State. So I think the worst case scenario here is it's more of the same for Fresno State defense and a struggle to stop a very competent rushing attack.
Yes, and I should mention Pavia through the air, his touchdown interception ratio 26-8. So he can sling the ball. And a name to look out for on the outside, 2 names, Jonathan Brady and Trent Hudson. Jonathan Brady leads the team in yards and receptions. Trent Hudson is right there with him, but he has 10 touchdowns. So he's a 6'3" junior, but he makes some noise. And then defensively, Jack talked about their linebacker core being probably their best position. I'd say the same about Fresno State. Keyshawn Elliott leads the team in tackles, and it's not close. He leads it. The next closest is 40 tackles behind him. So when it comes to interceptions and forcing turnovers and forcing fumbles, they do an okay job. They have 6 picks this year. Dylan Early, their safety, leads the team in interceptions, and they have 9 forced fumbles on the season. So they get around and make some big plays. And then those of you who are wondering about their D-line and if they're going to cause pressure on Mikey Keene, they have 31 sacks on the season. So their defense is solid. We're going to have to play a perfect game offensively to put up as many points as that we're going to need. Those numbers defensively, Caleb, what are your thoughts about New Mexico State's defense?
Definitely worried about how Fresno State's offensive line is going to be able to hang in there. I think one of the positive notes that we got in the last week is that Daniel Tuamalolo, I'm probably saying that wrong, but is slotted to start at left tackle for Fresno State. So, now that the bowl game doesn't impact redshirt status, he should be in there playing, which I think he's going to be an upgrade compared to a couple guys that have been in there the last 2 games. So I think that's a positive, but overall, Fresno State defensive or offensive line is going to have their hands full. And if Mikey is pressured and flustered and backpedaling and spinning like we've seen him do, I think it's going to be really tough for the offense to make positive progress. So, like usual, the O-line is going to be crucial for the success of the Fresno State offense.
Big time. I think that's going to be the main storyline. When we get to keys to the game, we're going to talk about it a lot, because there's no reason that we should focus anywhere else. Before we get into our Gonna Make You Sweat and Everybody Dance Now, need to tell you about a couple opportunities you have with some local businesses as Christmas approaches. So first, I got to tell you about Eastie's Woodshop. Eastie's Woodshop, you need to go to shopew.store to check out all their home decor needs and their custom woodworking that they can do for you. And while at shopew.store, you can send them a message, and all their line of personalized gifts. You can see it all, and you need to check it out. They have woodworking stuff. They etch things in glass and metal for you. A really cool place, and really cool place for gifts. You can use code BEWARE at shopew.store for 15% off your first purchase. That's shopew.store, code BEWARE for 15% off your first purchase. That's Eastie's Woodshop. Also, Flora Flower Co. Flora Flower Co., local flower shop located on Shepherd and Willow, open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. They have local flowers. They support local growers there. They have gifts there as well. So you have little kids. I know they have a lot of things for like toddlers and babies and things like that. And they have a florist in shop that will help you make bouquet, which is very cool. You can use code Fresno15. That's the number 15, Fresno, the number 15, for 15% off. And that code works in store and online. So that's Flora Flower Co. on Shepherd and Willow, Mondays through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Code Fresno15 for 15% off.
Everybody dance now.
All right, Caleb, the CNC, this is the last CNC Football Factory preview. What's going to make you dance this game, this bowl, New Mexico Bowl?
Yeah, that's a good question. And starting off with a positive, I like that we're doing dance first and not sweat, because just my mindset going into this game has not been positive. So we mentioned it before we hit record. I'm going to keep this one simple here. If Fresno State wins the game, I will dance, because Fresno State is needing some positive momentum and action in the football program. So I think a bowl win here will definitely help, Fresno State in that regard. And, it's a crucial time, especially with recruiting and transfer portal stuff, trying to, find players to come here in the portal. I think, a bowl win will help and show some stability from, the acting head coach. So Bulldog win, I'm dancing.
Same. I'd say I want to see a win. I don't remember what it's like to have a victory Sunday in a while. So exactly. I'd love to recap a game. By the way, while it's on my mind, because I don't want to forget this, Saturday, the game's at 2:45. I am going to be live streaming while the game is going on. So it's going to be like a watch along live stream. I did it for the volleyball Mountain West Championship. I will be doing it for the football game, and we are going to have a couple guests come in and out, stopping by. We're going to try to do the Peyton Manning, Eli Manning thing. They have guests coming in and out. So we're going to, Mr. Plutz here, though, is ditching me for that one. He is going to be, I don't know. It didn't sound like a fun place wherever he's going, but it's he will not be able to join us during that time. But that will be going on Saturday during the game. So if you're not subscribed on YouTube, head over to YouTube, subscribe, Beware of Bulldogs, and you'll get a notification when we go live. So, or when any video goes up. And I know you're just dying to see Caleb and I in our faces. So just head over to YouTube. That was a joke, by the way. We have faces that, like faces for radio, I guess. With podcasting, it's different, but we have faces for radio. Sorry, Caleb. I have a face for radio. You have a beautiful face. Anyways, Saturday, game time, we'll be live streaming on YouTube and talking to you guys and some other guests that are going to join us throughout the game. Should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. I meant to tell you that before, Caleb. Sorry, I just dropped that on you. Dropped that bomb on you.
Sounds fun.
All right. So, yeah, everybody dance now. I want to win, and I'll dance if we win because things have not gone well. And the style of play that New Mexico State has and the run that they're on, it's not encouraging for a Fresno State football fan to see all of that and listen to it and watch their highlights and say, man, this is the exact team I did not want to play because they do everything. They're a solid team, and they do everything well that we don't defend well defensively. So, or haven't in the past 3 games. So, anything, I mean, I'm not, we'll talk about keys to the game. Let's move on to the negative.
As an expert on sweat and sweating, I may as well be a sweat scientist.
All right, last 3 games, we were sweat scientists. It wasn't good. But, Caleb, what's going to make you sweat this Saturday?
Starting off, I think it has to be, I feel bad saying this, but maybe a lack of effort on defense. We've seen the last 3 opponents run like crazy on Fresno State, and it's a bowl game. I always question how much the players care about, being or playing in the bowl game. For the guys, the seniors that, they're out of eligibility, this is all they have. I expect them to play hard and, try to have a solid, closing to the, their college football book. But based on the last 3 games, it's very difficult to project that there's going to be an inspired defense out there. And I would really hope that I'm wrong here, but I'm really going to be sweating if it's a pretty quick touchdown for New Mexico State to, open up their first drive.
Yeah, we saw that against Auburn, and I watched the Auburn highlights. They scored their first drive and didn't look back. They crushed them. A 21-point win. So if they come out fast like that, definitely going to sweat. Thank goodness, though, most of the time, Fresno State comes out fast as well. We just don't put 4 quarters together and do that. So I'm gonna stick with you there defensively, but I also want to jump over to the other side of the ball and stay in the trenches. If our offensive line is struggling and we can't get a push for our running game, if we can't protect Mikey, it's going to be another one of those games where can we get anything going offensively? Because it starts with the O-line. I'm going to sweat a lot. I don't know what defense New Mexico State plays. I did not look. But to me, it doesn't matter. Go hit someone, offensive line, go hit someone that's in front of you and let's go make a block. Open up some holes for Malik Sherrod because like we've said over the course of this season, Malik Sherrod is our most explosive player or has been our most explosive player this year. We got to get him making big plays. So get him touches and let's go. So if our offensive line is struggling, I'm going to be sweating. Let's jump right. Let's follow that right into keys to the game. A lot of this overlaps. Anything else, Caleb, that you want to add? I think a key to the game, obviously, offensive line. We have to be successful at the point of attack, at the line of scrimmage, on both sides of the ball. If they're going to run the ball, defensive line's got to get in there. I'm curious to see how Johnny Hudson does. He's been banged up here and there. He's big for us when it comes to stopping the run. How are the linebackers performing? I know Ray Scott is in the transfer portal right now. We don't have him. So how are we going to match up stopping the run? defensively. But what are some keys to the game for you?
Yeah, I'll start on defense. Key is going to have to be get some interceptions. I think that was something that Fresno State defense did really well at the beginning of the season and really helped control momentum, control field position. So we just haven't seen a ton of that lately, maybe second half of the season. So is defense able to create turnovers to give them shorter fields and make it a little bit easier on the offense? So I think that's going to be important. That is something that Jack mentioned as potential kryptonite for the Aggies, to where Fresno State might be able to get an edge there. So I think I'll piggyback on that and say force some turnovers and specifically interceptions, because that was kind of a strength at the beginning of the season to kind of tailed off. And so offensively, I'm calling this key prove Caleb wrong. The Dogs need to score 30, and the last 3 performances have been 18, 17, and 18 points. So if the Dogs score 30, I think they have a shot at winning. If they can't do that, if it's a similar offensive production to the last 3, then I think that this is going to be trending toward a Fresno State loss. So key to prove me wrong and score 30 points.
I like it. And you talked about interceptions. My key to the game, actually, I'm going to single out some positions, and that's the safety position. Both safeties. We haven't talked about them as a key to the game, but I was thinking, I've had some time to think about this. When it comes to stopping the run, our main guy last year to help stop the run was Evan Williams. He was our safety. Right? I know I'm not supposed to say that name on this show, but sorry. One of our safeties has to come up and make big plays to stop the run, as well as have some interceptions, break up some passes, some pass deflections, passes defended. They are going to have a big game. And I think when a safety is having a good game, coming up and stopping the run, helping over the top in the passing game, it changes how the offense does things. And we really need that from the safety, because I think we've been missing that the past couple games. We're a step too late. We get beat over the top when we shouldn't, or there's miscommunication between us and the DB. So I think it's going to – I know I talked, and yes, in the trenches, that is number one. But after that, defensively, I'm going to have to go with the safeties. We need a big game from both of them, and whoever's out there. I'm sure Dean's going to be out there. Braca, I would expect Braca to be out there, but we've seen Braca, Comstock, Kosi, Krishawn Gordon, but he entered the transfer portal. So, who gets the reps? Do we see a Brandon Ramirez? Maybe. I don't know. But I think a key defensively is safeties, and then offensively, everything starts with the O-line. I'll say that over and over again, but I think we're just going to need guys to break tackles and make some big plays.
Yep.
If we can get guys in space, we throw some quick wide receiver screens. Mac doesn't slip. Eric catches the ball and goes. We got to get our guys in space. I was just thinking about the last game. I think Mac slipped once. Eric Brooks dropped one. Like, those things don't happen. Those are big game changers. And then last but not least, Caleb, the guy I mention every week, Trey Watson. Please. I mean, Trey Watson should have at least 6 targets a game. 6 targets a game. He's that good. We have to get him going. So please, key to the game, target Trey Watson. Just target him. I used to say receptions. I want receptions from Trey Watson. I'm over that. Just target him. I just want to see that he's part of the team, because I'm missing him right now. I really am.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's a weapon for the offense. We've covered that a lot this season. So I do have a question for you, because just looking at receiving stats for this whole season, it's pretty much been a different guy every game that's been the leading receiver. So who's your guess about who's going to be the leading receiver after for this game?
I'd like to see Eric Brooks get the senior going. A name we haven't talked about since the beginning of the season is Jalen Gill. I think he caught that deep ball against Arizona State on the sideline. Made a great play, great catch, great play. Let's get Jalen Gill going too. But if I'm going to pick, probably Josiah Freeman, right? The guy's a freak, man. He's good, really good hands, big, tall, high points the ball well. So if I'm gonna go with somebody, I think it's time for Josiah Freeman. But I would like to see Eric Brooks, and I think it's more likely Eric Brooks, and I'd like to see Eric Brooks, Trey Watson, Jalen Gill go crazy. What about you?
I'd like to see Jalen Moss. I feel like he kind of peaked kind of middle of the season, and the last couple, granted, they were Fresno State losses, but still feel like there's a lot of potential that can be unlocked with Jalen Moss. I think he's number one wide receiver of the future, hopefully. So I would love to see him have an 8 reception, 140 yard day.
I like him. Jalen Moss is a good player. He's going to be very good in the future. I like that.
Yep.
All right, we're going to get to weather, TV, spread, give our thoughts on that. But first, I got to give a big shout out to Manage X. Manage X, full service property management company. They service single family, small multifamily, office, and industrial properties. They've been in business in Fresno since 1978. That's before I was born. And they're huge supporters of Fresno State athletics and Beware of Bulldogs podcast. Thank you, Manage X. If you need property management services, please check out their website, managex.net. That's manage, the letter X.net. Also, got to give a shout out to Givoli Winery. We had fun bucket golf tournament last weekend on Sunday. Shout out to Joe. He won. We tried something different, and it was a lot of fun. Givoli Winery is a winery located on Biola Avenue, just north of Shaw. They're open Saturdays and Sundays, noon to 5. They also have brick oven wood fire pizza Saturdays and Sundays. If you work on the weekends and you like to go out there on the weekdays, they are open on the weekdays by appointment only. So you can email them, givoliwinery@gmail.com, and you can check out their calendar for a list of events at givoliwinery.com. That's Ziveli. All right, Caleb, what is the weather looking like in Albuquerque? What can we expect?
Yeah, so I think all things considered, about as good of outlook as Fresno State could hope for. So we got a high of 49 degrees on the day, a low of 29. I think the key here is only 5 miles per hour of wind. So Albuquerque, pretty high elevation, chance of wind usually. It can make a game a little weird, but not the case, at least in according to our Doppler radars here. So should be in the 40s in game time, and I do think it helps that this is played during the day. So sun should be shining, nice and warm, and shouldn't be too much of a factor for the Dogs. So like we mentioned, kickoff is at 2:45 Pacific time, and Dogs' first appearance on ESPN this season. So mostly. CBS and Fox and their affiliates, during the season, just because of their agreement with Mountain West, but both season, mostly ESPN. So first appearance there for Fresno State. You got that, or you can also check out Bulldog Sports Network. Paul, Pat, and Cam will have that coverage too. So those are our options for consuming the game, because I'm expecting probably a lighter Fresno State turnout, because it is a bit of a journey to get to Albuquerque, New Mexico.
But the two guys I've talked to from New Mexico say we have to go there. It's a great place. Jack said that, and yesterday too. So everybody from Albuquerque absolutely loves it there. They want us to, or near Albuquerque. They got to go check it out. So let me comment down below if you've been to Albuquerque. What are your thoughts on Albuquerque? I'd like to know from some Fresno people that have been there as well. Not that I don't trust you guys from Albuquerque, but I would like to know from the Fresno people as well. Like I said before, this game opened -2.5 to New Mexico State, and it's moved now to 3.5 to New Mexico State. What are your thoughts on that, Caleb? What do you think about this? And I guess I should also say over under opened at 52.5 and has moved now to 51.5.
I'm not surprised. I think New Mexico State should have the edge here. I think they had a stronger finish to their season. Their team is bought into their coach, and overall, I think that they deserve to be favored. And Fresno State, like we've mentioned, kind of limping in here to this finish line. So I think that the line is probably appropriate. And I mean, if we're going to get into our picks here, I think this might be a first for me. Beware of Bulldogs history. I think that Fresno State's going to lose this game, and I really hope that I'm wrong. And I don't mind if I get roasted in the comments, but I see this as a 31-17 win for New Mexico State Aggies. So I think that's why I said, prove me wrong and score 30. I think that I'm projecting another offensive performance that mirrors one of the last 3 games. So only mustering up 17 points. So I'll be cheering like heck for the Dogs, obviously, but that's just the way that I see this happening, because I think that this Aggie team is going to be playing for something. This is a big season for them, and they get to know. Our guest mentioned that they've only had 5 winning seasons, I think, in the last 50 or something. So, this is a pretty big deal for New Mexico State. So I will say, though, Fresno State is on a 4-game bowl win streak dating back to 2017. So they do have that. But that's my projection for Fresno State versus New Mexico State.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how the team comes out. And Coach Jeff Tedford is not there with us this weekend. So Tim Skippers got the reins. I'm sure things are going to be ran exactly the same. How do the boys respond to someone else on the sideline? And Tim's got, he's got his duties as a position coach as well right now. So how do the boys respond to all of this? It's from following along on social media. It looks like they're having a blast. I love to see it. My final score prediction is 28-24 Aggies.
Ooh.
We're going to get roasted in the chat, Caleb. This is the first time I think this year that I picked the Dogs to lose. It's really hard, and you guys understand. You guys get this. It's hard for me to pick the Dogs right now after the last 3 games I've seen, and the team that New Mexico State is. It's hard to pick against them. So if I was going to put money on it, I'm going to put money on the Aggies right now because they look like a team that can take advantage of us. And I hate to say that. I hope I'm wrong. I do agree with you, Caleb. It's going to take 30 points for us to win.
Mm-hmm.
You picked 31 total. I picked 28 total for the Aggies. 30 points. There you go. It'll be fun to recap, hopefully, and see how close we were. We like to play profit. Everyone likes to play profit in the sports world. So see how close they get. Let us know down below in the comment section what your final score prediction is as well. Last but not least, I do need to give a shout out to the Vine Church in Fresno, located on Shaw, just west of Grantland. The Vine Church is a great place for community. You find some local community, find a support group. You need prayer. Come on out Sundays, 10 a.m. to the Vine Church on Shaw, just west of Grantland. And if you need prayer, they have prayer nights on Thursday. You want to get involved in Bible studies. You just have questions. Let me know. I can get you in touch with them. Great people, very kind. And the pastor and his family are a lot of fun and normal. They're normal. So shout out to the Vine Church in Fresno. Okay, Caleb. I do want to give, before we go, a huge thank you to everyone that supported us this season. But Caleb, any last words on this game in particular?
I think we've just about covered it. A lot of question marks for Fresno State and a lot of question marks about who's going to show up. Is it the team from the first 9 games that was competitive and really good offense that was putting up points? Or is it going to be the team from the last 3 games that really couldn't stop anyone? So I'm curious to see how Skipper does calling the plays, if maybe this is an audition for the future. Curious to see how clock management goes, because obviously that's something that he really hasn't had to be doing with just position coach duties. So those are the things that the details matter for the head coach. I know that is something that Tedford prides himself on, is being precise and having the details covered. So yeah, lots to watch in this game, and hopefully we are proven wrong.
I can't wait to be proven wrong. I can't wait. It's going to happen. We're 4-0, working for 5-0 in bowl games since 2017. All right, let's make it happen. Big shout out to you guys for supporting us this year and listening. The response this year has been bigger than any other year. We really appreciate it. Caleb and I have a blast doing this. We get to talk Fresno State sports and Fresno State football, which we love, and we can't believe that. I mean, we don't get paid to do this, but we get to do it and people listen. Can't believe that. That's wild. Appreciate you guys so much for your support. This is the last preview of the year, but remember, during game time, pull up YouTube, go subscribe. We'll be doing the live stream. So for copyright reasons, can't put the game on YouTube. Sorry, but have it on your TV, and then I'll be sitting there and we could talk and jump in the chat and working on getting guests on and things like that as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And then we will have our live recap Sunday night. I hope. I actually haven't talked to Caleb about that yet, but there will be a live recap Sunday night at 7 p.m. Pacific. So make sure you tune in on YouTube, subscribe, hit the bell, comment down below, do all that stuff. Instagram, X, and I'm falling behind on basketball, but I promise we're going to do basketball. I'm going to the game tomorrow. We play Friday, or as you're listening to it today, we play Bakersfield tonight. So at the Save Mart Center. So make sure you're there. My brother and I are going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I got to chat with Leo Colomario last weekend. Great kid, great family. Got to meet the family from Brazil. The nicest people. And it was so good to meet someone on the basketball team finally, because I hadn't yet, this basketball team. And I want to feel a little bit, connected. We talked to some boys on the football team. And by the way, we didn't mention Maurice Norris. I'm hoping Mo has a massive game, and he should.
Definitely.
Yeah, but excited we have a connection there with Leo Colomario. Great kid, great family. So get out there, support the Dogs and the basketball team against CSU Bakersfield, which has been a good team past couple of years. So it should be a lot of fun. All right, Caleb, let's get out of here. I know we both got to get to family dinner. So thank you guys. God bless. Stay safe, stay healthy. Merry Christmas. And as always, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.